In factories and workplaces across the country, something is stirring. The rhythm of Britain's economy is picking up. Experts now expect the strongest economic growth in decades. And this machine is part of the explanation. Not so much because of what it's doing, pressing and churning out electrodes for the rear-view mirror in your car, but why it's here. This company, Brandauer, is among the first to use a radical new policy announced in the budget, the super deduction.
30-tonne high-speed stamping press roughly costs about £230,000 just for the press itself. And the super deduction gives us approximately £70,000 extra allowance. Absolutely, it couldn't have come at a better time to encourage spending.
The idea is that businesses can write off large chunks of their corporation tax bill, not just the cost of machines like this, but an extra 30% on top. That might be a very big deal. Now, it's still too early to know for sure just what the impact of this machine and thousands like it across the UK is going to be for the economy, but two economists I've spoken to say that we could be looking at business investment growth of maybe over 10%. That's the strongest that we've seen in a decade and a half. That's good news, but it's worth just bearing two things in mind. First of all, we are still bouncing back from a very deep recession. Second, there are some economists who think that the super deduction might not be that super after all. That might jar, given how the Chancellor described it back in March.
Bold, unprecedented action.
But remember, he's also increasing corporation tax from 19 to 25% in a couple of years. And it turns out that might be what this deduction is really all about.
It looks like the size of the super deduction has been chosen precisely to offset that effect of the corporation tax rate rise. The tax rate is going up by 30%. It's going to be 130% of what it is now. And so by giving a super deduction of 130% of investment, it turns out that those two effects offset each other almost exactly.
In other words, it's not so much a stimulus as a damage limitation exercise. Indeed, for some companies, the main impact is just to bring forward investments they were going to do anyway, like this pallet distributor in Scotland.
The business was there for us anyway. I mean, regardless of the super tax, we would have done this anyway. But it's certainly being a big help to us.
Either way, this, plus the easing of restrictions and the return of a bit of normalcy, is at the heart of the big economic story of the moment. The economy is bouncing back, faster than most people expected. Ed Conway, Sky News.